This is Groove Talk with Froggy Style.
So would you mind just introducing yourself just for the people who will be listening?
Yeah, no problem. So it's Darty here, guitar player from Chron Goblin.
Awesome, thank you. So you guys are nominated for a YYC Music Award for Music Video of the Year.
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, we're pretty stoked. It's for the title track from our most recent album called Backwater.
Okay, cool. So how does it feel to be nominated for a music award like this?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it turned out to be a really good music video. We shot with some really, really talented people out in the Badlands in Alberta. So, a lot of effort went into it, and it turned out really good. So, yeah, we're honored. We're really stoked that we can be nominated for these awards. And anytime we get to be part of something that kind of embraces Calgary's music scene, we're usually pretty stoked to be a part of it. So, yeah, very excited.
Awesome. Have you guys received a lot of support from the Calgary music scene?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this January marks our 9th year as a band. And
wow.
Calgary has been an amazing home where we've always had such amazing support from our fans and our friends and our family. And I mean, there's so much talent that's been coming out of Calgary for so long. It's really something special to be a part of, and we have such a strong and supportive scene that we're always proud whenever we're touring internationally to let people know that we're from Calgary and it's a great city and check it out. So yeah, we're stoked, definitely.
That's awesome. So for the music video, so was that kind of like your guys' vision, or did you work with somebody and they kind of like formed it with you, or how did that come together?
Yeah, good question. So we actually were working with a really talented producer named Grant Cooper. He's an old friend of our band. He actually was the original drummer from the Calgary band Witchstone. So longtime friends, and he had this crazy idea of basically shooting a project out in the Badlands with a fair amount of fire and a fair amount of big guitar amps and, a crazy kind of storm setting. And we were able to even round up like a dog that looked like a wolf, and we were able to use some kind of drone video cameras. So yeah, it was kind of his concept, and like every video we've ever been a part of, there's been a bit of on-the-fly kind of changes and just kind of doing anything we can to enhance the video. And yeah, I mean, we're really stoked on how it turned out, and yeah, pretty stoked to be nominated for an award for it as well.
So I guess, what's kind of your opinion on music videos in kind of today's music scene and culture and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's kind of like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I mean, you want to have one, and it definitely helps, your exposure, especially if you're trying to book shows far away from home. But it's one of those investments that you're not going to see a return, very soon, and it's kind of hard to measure. I mean, no one's making really money off of the music video unless they're getting upwards of millions of plays. So, I mean, I think if any band can make it work and put up something there that's fun and enjoyable, like absolutely go for it. But I guess if you're thinking you're going to get a really quick financial payback, that's probably not the case. I think it just kind of reinforces your band and really is something that you can kind of help to expose yourself to the rest of the world and to get some almost like international notice because you have the ability to reach such a large audience.
So have you been getting a lot of kind of like international notice with the new music video?
Well, actually, funny enough, when we released it, it was midway through our European tour last year, so it was a really good kind of extra boost to get some more people at the shows that we were already on tour for. So it's definitely one of those things that I think that helps you, just get recognized a little bit further, and it kind of shows that you're a little bit more serious than maybe some other groups if you can kind of, I don't know, get it together enough to get a crew to film a video. It certainly doesn't mean that you can't do some amazing things without one, but I definitely would say it's something that helps you kind of, just get yourself further out there.
So how do you kind of go about picking a song to make a music video out of, I guess?
Yeah, that's always a tough question too. I mean, actually, that particular album that has the Backwater video, we did a video for another song as well off of it. So for that one, we kind of we had two songs we thought really would stand out in terms of just a good hook and a good catch, and as well, I mean, song length for sure. I mean, if you have a really long song, that can be a bit more challenging. But I think with the particular one for Backwater, it's one of our favorite tunes off that album. It's a really good song to play live. We have a good response. So we just felt it'd be just a good one to make sure we get a video for before we kind of moved on to working on the next album and whatnot.
So I'm kind of curious about how the songwriting process works for you guys. Is it kind of like one person who takes the lead, or is it kind of a collective thing? How does that work?
Yeah, good question. I mean, typically what happens is Brett is our drummer, and myself will kind of get together with some ideas, bounce some kind of riffs and drum combination back and forth, and then we kind of typically would bring in bass and vocals a little bit later down the line. But there's also lots of songs where just Richard and myself on bass would figure out on our own. So really our process it's not really consistent. It kind of changes from time to time, and Josh, our vocalist, he always brings in some awesome ideas as well. But I guess sometimes it starts off with Brett and myself, kind of a drum guitar combo, and that seems to have worked for us in the past. But we're working on a new album right now, and it's a different approach as well. I mean, a lot of pre-production and people working on parts on their own time and then coming together and jamming it out, seeing how that goes, and then recording various demos and, tweaking things from there. So it's been kind of an evolving process since we started and seems to continue to evolve a bit.
So since you have been playing you have been a band at least for 9 years, do you find it harder to find make time for music and practice and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, I think with anyone, I think the older you get, the more you kind of get pulled away with various other responsibilities that maybe you didn't have when you were 21 per se. But I mean, it's something that we all really care about and have such a strong passion for that. I think if it's something that you want to do and you have a really strong passion for it, you'll always find time to do it. You might not be able to do it, 4 nights a week like you used to when you didn't have as many responsibilities. But I think, if the passion's there, you'll always find a way to make it work.
Yeah, for sure. So do you have a favorite place that you have played a show?
I think, personally, I kind of have a tie. My one would be Portland, Oregon. It's such a magical place. There's so many amazing bands in kind of the hard rock, kind of groove, stoner rock scene that's been coming out of there. And we've had nothing but amazing times and support, and they have such a good music community. And we recorded our last our last album down in Portland. So that's kind of the one. And then we've had the privilege of playing in London, England twice, and in our genre there too as well. We've played this festival called Desert Fest a couple times over there, and I mean they just have such a unique scene over there, and just to bring your Canadian music over across the world essentially to play to where they invented rock and roll it was such a cool and exciting experience.
Yeah, I mean that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess since you have played in so many places and you have played like overseas and stuff, like what is like the Calgary music scene like compared to other music scenes that you've experienced?
Yeah, I think one thing that really makes Calgary cool is you can go see a bill that has such a diverse lineup. Like, I don't think it's that uncommon. You can go to a show and there'll be a funk band with a rock band and maybe a metal band or something. I mean, there's certainly your genre-specific shows as well, but I think Calgary has the ability to really support such a large variety of music, and there's so many awesome venues that are so willing to accommodate the local scene and the touring acts as well. I mean, we've got such amazing venues like, the Palomino, Ship and Anchor, that even if you're not playing a gig, you could go there any night of the week and see some pals, see a few bands, maybe see some bands you haven't heard of. So I think it's just that enthusiasm and support for your fellow Calgarians and seeing what they're doing. And now we have the National Music Center, and there's, various great recording studios right within the scene, and you have, agencies like Alberta Music that really support, and I think we're just really lucky to have a city that does embrace arts and culture, and in this case, specifically music. So yeah, it's a really good city. Definitely, we're very proud to call Calgary home.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you as well. So kind of what goes into planning, say, a European tour like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of things. It's just, you got to go through everything from, getting your van rentals to your backline rentals and, pre-connecting with all the various promoters. We've been over there a few times with and without booking agents, and with a booking agent certainly makes things easier because they do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. But then at the same time, when you can do it yourself, that's nice as well. The last time we went and did it, we did it basically all of ourselves and did all of our own driving, thanks to Richard, our bass player, who can actually drive on the other side of the road. So that was awesome. But I think it's being a lot more attentive to details than you might be if you're just driving across the prairie. So you just want to make sure that, you have all your appropriate paperwork and you're not going to get denied at a border or anything like that. You've brought enough strings to make it work. But I mean, just like our scene is so supportive there, the various places that we've ever played, the bands that you're playing with are all usually really chill, and, if something happens and you need a little bit of help with something, they can kind of figure it out.
So what's the biggest thing that you've learned maybe about yourself or about, I don't know, anything really, from playing in a band for so long?
Totally. Good question. I think one of the most important things is make sure that you're doing it for the right reason, and it's the love of music, and to always be humble for any successes that you might reach, and also just to make sure that your passion is still there and that drive is still there, and you're getting that satisfaction from shows. Because I mean, it doesn't matter how many shows you played or sometimes how far you drive. Like, you're going to have amazing shows, and then you're going to have shows that are a little bit slower. And I think that's really good in a way that it keeps you humble, and it keeps that drive for those shows that are so legendary there, and keeps it strong. And then just remember, to be close with your band. You go through good and bad, but at the end of the day, you've been through a lot together, and that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, cool. Are there any kind of up-and-coming local acts that you're really excited about?
There's, actually, we had a chance to play an all-ages show with this all-female band called A-Bomb. They're pretty cool, pretty phenomenal guitar player in that band, and so that was an exciting band to watch. In terms of newer bands, that's a good one. I feel like I'm just waiting for a younger wave of bands. And, they might already be there, and I'm too old and haven't paid attention to what's going on. But I feel like there's got to be a new wave of kind of hard rock bands that are coming out that aren't just, into the hip-hop scene. Because I know that's a pretty strong scene in Calgary. But I don't know. My question is also, where's the young rockers? There's got to be a crew of them coming out.
Yeah. I guess what do you think we can do to maybe kind of help foster a love of music in today's youth?
Well, I mean, after school programs that have things for children and youth to play music, I know the city of Calgary used to offer a variety of those, and I think the National Music Center might be offering those. So I think just like fostering a place for youth and kids to learn about music and to learn about maybe unstructured music and how to rehearse with some friends, from that perspective. And then I also think the promotion of all ages shows and going to those shows and supporting that music scene is really important. I know they have the program, I think it's called Major Minor Music right now going on, and I think the gentleman's name is Graham, and he's put on a few awesome shows that's really been getting some all ages bands out there and giving them an opportunity to play with, more established bands. And so it's supporting them with access and opportunities to listen to music and to play music.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe what's one piece of advice that you would give to a younger band who is just starting out?
I would say to just make sure that the main reason that you're playing music is to have fun and to really enjoy that self-satisfaction of playing and creating music with your friends, and to really focus on that more so than anything else that might be coming your way with the music industry.
Were all ages shows really important to you growing up?
Absolutely, yeah. I actually grew up in Manitoba, and we would go to various community halls in Brandon and watch, at that time, there was a lot of punk rock shows and just loved it. And then when I moved to Calgary, they had the Carpenters Hall, which is another all-ages venue. And just remember going to so many shows, and you'd meet up with friends from all around the city to go see, your favorite punk bands that were playing. So, yeah, it's really important, and it really, I guess, opens children and youth kind of to a whole new world that they might not have ever seen before. And without those opportunities for those all-ages shows, they might never get a chance to see a live band in action unless they have some friends playing in the basement and whatnot. So, yeah, I think having that opportunity as a youth to be inspired by watching live music is just, it's amazing.
Yeah. So I guess maybe what's kind of the strangest venue you've played in?
Yeah, we played in this, I'm looking for a post right now if I can remember, but it was a small town in France, and we played in basically a dungeon of an old castle that was older than Canada itself. And just the crazy smell of grime and sweat and mildew. It was just, it was a surreal experience. And the echo and reverberation of the music being played in this, old brick kind of structure was just so eerie and cool and, fun at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess, is there any kind of final things that you just want to throw out there, or?
Yeah, sure. So, for any of our fans who might be listening, we're working on a new album right now. We plan to be recording in early 2018. And, just want to give a big thanks to all of our fans and friends and family who have supported us since day one.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview with me. Yeah, thanks for having us. And, on behalf of all of Chron Goblin, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Awesome. Okay, take care.